What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I thought about putting this on my kind of more political channel called Midwestly, which I'll leave linked in the pinned comment below, where I cover more overtly political things. Here on this channel, I often will cover politics from a perspective of how it's ruining things, how it's getting in the way of modern enjoyment, escapism, video games, movies, things like that. But I try hard to not have a specific take because I would never want to alienate a large portion of my audience. What they believe politically is honestly none of my concern. And I'm going to have a nice video for Saturday discussing another content creator that may have stepped in it today. But I want to talk about the Wil Wheaton versus PewdiePie story for a couple of reasons. One, Wil Wheaton has a long history of being an absolute moron when it comes to his political hot takes. I don't know the guy personally, so he might be totally fine in general. All I have to judge him off of are a string of champagne socialist bourgeois bullshit hot takes on Twitter. Why is this relevant? Well, because I find myself defending PewdiePie many times from these types of takes because I enjoy his content, and I think that the man is not without sin. He is not without mistakes. But the idea that every little mistake has to follow you around forever and ever and ever and define you as a man or woman is absurd. It lives only, this line of thinking lives only on the vocal minority of Twitter, and clickbait mainstream media articles that will constantly bring up every little thing everyone's ever done when it helps fit a narrative for them. Now, when Wil Wheaton left Twitter a while ago, and I want to thank Poison Pixie for capturing many of these images, he left saying, "Twitter is broken. You deserve better than an app that tolerates and welcomes the spreading of abuse and misinformation. Being part of this is not doing us any good, personally, politically, socially. For a day, a week, forever, your call. It's just a good time to go." And he deactivated his Twitter. Of course, he couldn't stay away because Twitter is where his people are, where the insane extremes of the political spectrum can like and retweet every little thing you do and say, giving you that digital endorphin push that people so desperately need. By the way, remember to like this video and leave a comment down below. Then, a man who's had a problem with spreading an abuse and misinformation decided to go on to on Facebook and post. This is a little hard to read, but I can make it out. I don't think anyone archived it, or if they did, I wasn't able to get the link, but this is well known, well documented. He says, "Hi, Facebook. On one hand, I'm heartened to discover that you know so little about me. Your algorithms seem to think that I want to follow a racist piece of poop bigot. On the other hand, F you for recommending and providing a platform for this racist piece of poop bigot." And he posts a screenshot that he was suggested to join a PewdiePie group on Facebook. Now, there's really no evidence to point to PewdiePie actually being racist. He once said the N-word. That doesn't make somebody that thing. You can say something hateful, but that doesn't mean you're a hateful person. Now, I'm not going to defend the use of this word, especially in the context that it was used, but I'm going to live. People are going to live. He apologized. It hasn't happened again. It's not like there are tapes and footage of him saying this in the direction of black folks or in a racist manner. Can PewdiePie be a little edgy at times? Yes. Do I think he's racist? No. Do I think he's a bigot? No. These are things that are not even provable. This is what I would call, well, to borrow Wil Wheaton's word, misinformation and toxicity and hate. So as somebody who wants virtue signaled to get everyone, to say he's better than Twitter, if you remember, he left Twitter and went to a ultra far left social media place called Mastodon, and he was soundly rejected from there as well. He then goes on to say, to anyone who wants to or feels a need to defend this guy's words and actions as, quote, just being jokes, please ask one of your non-white friends if they think it's funny when someone uses racist language or racist tropes under the guise of it just being jokes. Well, if I provided context, I'm pretty sure people would be fine with it. Again, Wil Wheaton, certified blue check mark, also is the type of guy that claims to speak for all black people or for all people of color or for all, he has this God complex where he is offended on your behalf and he is here to defend you against straw men. Ask him how it makes him feel. Ask yourself why you believe that it's just jokes. Well, it was a joke. You can find a joke unfunny, and just because your skin color is different doesn't change anything. Jokes aren't funny for everybody, and to say that you universally know what was going on in PewdiePie's head is insane. He goes on to say, I've heard the endless string of racist and bigoted things come from straight out of his mouth for years, which is a provable lie. Wil Wheaton continues to spread misinformation. Has he said a few things in a 10, 15-year span? Yeah. To classify it as an endless string is absurd. Provably false. It is a lie. It's hateful content. And this is somebody who, as far as I know, PewdiePie has said he is a fan of Wil Wheaton. Quote, it was just a joke is not the get out of jail, I'm assuming he means jail, the get out of being a racist for free card that he seems to think it is. He's a racist dude and a bigot. It's fine if you're going to be a big fan of his, but don't pretend that isn't what he is based on his own words. And again, we're talking about a man who had an outburst in a video game and a man who probably crossed the line with a Fiverr meme, okay? But jokes are still jokes. The man has many, many folks of color following him on Twitter and following him on YouTube who are fans of his, who are not offended by him. And I think the worst you could say, Will, is that he has made some mistakes. To pigeonhole a human based on a few statements they've made that you didn't like, to say that defines who they are as a man or woman, you wouldn't like me to turn that against you, Will, would you? Because to me, Wil Wheaton is a liar, a toxic human being, a spreader of misinformation, a divisive figure. Is that who Wil Wheaton wants to be? He has a savior complex. He claims to speak for all black folks. I'm sure there are plenty of black folks that don't give two shits what Wil Wheaton has to say. A man who has lived a life of, by his own definition, extreme privilege. A man who is largely irrelevant outside of random co-star or random appearances on The Big Bang Theory and some voiceover work. All right. Then he goes on to say, I wanted to lock comments on the post I made yesterday about PewdiePie because it's filling up with truly vile, racist, homophobic, misogynistic, bigoted memes. Not memes. No. It's like these people don't ever understand that when you show that you're easily triggered, Angry Joe, that people are going to pick at that. That's how the internet works, Wil Wheaton. You are one of the early era. You're one of the early people on Twitter and Facebook. You should know this by now. I wanted to lock it because I don't have time to delete all this stuff. But Facebook won't let me lock comments. So I deleted it. Oh, he deleted the post. Aw. Which I know a significant percentage of poopy little... Oh my God. Will treat me as some sort of victory. It's a time management thing for me, but you do you, my dudes. You're not allowed to use my dudes, Will. Here's the thing. Whether you believe the guy's racist or not, it makes me truly profoundly sad that you seem to see that so many people seem to be entirely comfortable with dehumanizing people based on their race. Please choose kindness. He says, well, Wil Wheaton, you did not choose kindness. So as a typical far left ideologue, you live by the mantra of do as I say, not as I do. It's sad, Wil Wheaton. And of course, Wil Wheaton attacks PewdiePie. Actor Wil Wheaton, who voices Jonathan Rook in Netflix Stretch Armstrong, as well as Aqualad on Teen Titans Go, attacked popular YouTuber Felix Schellberg. In a now-deleted Facebook post, Wheaton called him a racist piece of poop bigot. Wheaton also would attack Facebook, writing F you for recommending this and providing a platform. So, of course, Wil Wheaton, who lives on the nerd community as, from what I can tell, as a fake nerd, but I'm not entirely sure. I mean, this is who he is. He makes his living off the nerd community, whether it be Magic the Gathering, whether it be D&D and Big Bang Theory. This is how he makes his living. Now, as captured by Poison Pixie, and we've talked about all of this too. The thing is, Will, I don't understand how you can be totally unaware of your own toxicity. To say these things about another human being, I mean, is insane. To say these things and then blame them for being toxic and divisive, which is the exact thing you, Wil Wheaton, are doing. You're dividing your own fandom because surely there are fans of Wil Wheaton that are also fans of PewdiePie. And as somebody who works in the entertainment industry, you must have achieved enough money to not worry about turning away fans. I've just run into a YouTuber who clearly thinks that as well. I mean, I suppose you do you, but I'm here to just point out the fact that you, Wil Wheaton, are doing far more damage than PewdiePie ever would by having an accidental word slip out of his mouth, because people know who he really is. People know that doesn't really define him. But you seem to be on this path of hatred and vitriol and divisiveness. It seems to consume you. It seems that no platform is pure enough for the godlike Wil Wheaton. Well, all I have to say to that is shut up, Wesley.